Hey, and welcome to my next video. This is JC from JC Tech. Today we're talking about Pixelpad.io. This is a great platform for learning and making games with the Python programming language right in the browser. So let's get to it. First, I've got an empty project already loaded here. What we're going to do is add in a character, which will be the player, and we're going to give him movement with the keyboard keys. So that's a very basic step that you might want to do if you're building a game that has a character that you move around. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a sprite that will represent our character. So I clicked on the plus symbol for the sprites, and we get a modal pop-up here where we can select some of the built-in sprites, or we can upload our own sprites. For this demo, we're just going to choose Pixelhead Down as our sprite. I'm going to select him. I'm going to give him a name, and it's just going to be player to keep it simple. So he's going to represent the player. And if I go on the left-hand column and click, I can see that player PNG is there. Great. Next thing I want to do is I want to create a class for our player. And a class, of course, is a blueprint for instances or objects that we create in the game. So this is going to be our blueprint for the player. Okay, we have our player class now. Now we want to add that sprite as an attribute of our player class. So every time that the player class is instantiated, this sprite will come along with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look into the docs. Let me close that and show that again. So at the top of the menu here, we have docs. This is the built-in documentation, and I'll click on that, and I want to look for sprites. Let's see if we can find some code here that will help us out. All right, so lines 4 and 5, we have some code. Let's copy that code. I'm going to right-click and press copy, and then I'm going to close the documentation window, and then go back here in the player start area, and looks like right-click does not have a paste option, but I know it's in the clipboard. So I'm going to use the key command, Command V or Control V if you're on a PC, and we get our code here. So let's change that right away. Line 3 is, let's put some space there. Line 3 is comments. We can delete that part. We don't need that. We know it's the player start. And we're going to change this from Ninja Frog to player, since player is the name of our PNG. And we're going to do the same thing inside here. So I double-clicked on the word, and then I'm just typing right in player PNG. Great. Pixelpad does not have autosave, so let's get in the habit of saving often our work. Okay, so this, since we copied and pasted, we have this. It looks like sprite was set to an attribute of the Gary, but we're going to make it as an attribute of the player class, so we're going to use the keyword self. All right, let's save that, and let's see if it shows up. It does not show up, so we're missing something here. All we have done is assigned the sprite to the player class, but we need to instantiate the player in the game. So we're going to do that in the game. We're going to again use the keyword self, and we're going to call this instance our hero, and it's going to be the player class. All right, so our instance of the player class is getting assigned to this hero variable, and it's an attribute of the game class. So everywhere in our game, the game is like a special room or area that applies to all the other rooms in our game. And rooms here, you can see in the left-hand corner, there's a place for setting up rooms. Rooms are the areas of the game. So let's save that and press play, and voila, there he is. Our character is on the screen. Great, but he can't move. When I press the keys, he's doing nothing. So now we need to set up movement for our character. So let's do that. We're going to go back to the player class. We'll set movement up in the player loop since movement applies to the player. And we're going to go into the docs and see if we can find some code to copy and use to help us out. So I'm looking in the docs on the left-hand column, and I want to find input. There's input. Input refers to the keyboard and the mouse. And let's scroll down and see if we can find some code here that will help us out. Okay, so here I think I found an example that will work. I'm highlighting this. It says if key is pressed. So that sounds like it refers to the key presses. So let's copy that and see if that'll work. Close, and I'm going to paste that in. Now, we need to change some things. One thing I want to change is this comment is running off the screen, so I'm going to make it a new line and add a comment there. And by the way, if you want to toggle comments quickly, you can use a key command. It's command mark. So I'm pressing command question mark, and as you can see, it removes those hashtags from the beginning of the lines. And that is how you can toggle comments. Comments are really important in Python and a lot of programming languages for notes and documenting your code. And when the Python interpreter comes across the hashtag, it knows that this is a comment and it should not try to interpret it as code, so it just gets skipped. Okay, let's go back to our actual code on lines 6 and 7. And it says when key is pressed, arrow left. You can use this if you want. Of course, that's the arrow keys on your keyboard. I'm going to actually program my character to move with the AWSD keys, which is a very common way to move around in games on PC. So I changed it to the A key, and now I also need to remove that word Gary because that doesn't apply to us. We want to act directly on the player class, so all we need is the self keyword to tell that this code is acting on the instance of the player class. Let's save that and see if he actually moves. So I'm pressing the A key and check it out, he's moving. Great. So I'll stop. I know this code is working, so I'm going to duplicate it for moving to the right. So to move to the right, I'm going to use the D key, put D in there, and I need to update the x-axis by incrementing it, not decrementing it. So the subtraction operator decrements, we need to increase the x-axis. So this is saying that it's going to increase and set. The plus sign increases and the equal sign sets it. Oops, I just reversed that order there. Plus sign increments and the equal sign sets it. And this is inside the player loop, so that means this happens like 60 frames per second. So he'll move 5 pixels. That's what that 5 refers to. It's the pixels. He'll move 5 pixels at each frame that the key is pressed. Okay, so let's save that and see if he's moving to the right. And he is moving to the right. Great. He can move right and left. Good, that code's working, so let's copy it and bring it down and paste it. So now we're going to work on up and down, so we're going to be multiple lines at once. A really handy feature. Again, that was the Alt key and left clicking with the mouse. Okay, so I'm going to backspace and then type Y. And to exit out, I'll just click on the screen. Right, so the A key, actually I need to change that to W to go up, and this one I need to change to S to go down. And since I'm going up, I also need to change the operator here to Y-axis. So I need to change the X to the Y. Here's a little trick you can do. If you press the Alt key and click on another line, you can have multiple cursors. So you can edit multiple lines at once. a really handy feature. Again, that was the Alt key and left clicking with the mouse. Okay, so I'm going to backspace and then type Y. And to exit out, I'll just click on the screen. Right, so the A key, actually I need to change that to W to go up, and this one I need to change to S to go down. And since I'm going up, I also need to change the operator here to an addition, and then the operator here to subtraction to go down on the y-axis. I'm going to press save, stop, and play, and let's see if he can move up and down. Pressing the W makes him move up, pressing the S makes him move down. Great. And A and D left to right. And that's it. We've got our character in our game. We're off to a good start, and we can make him move. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you next time. An addition, and then the operator here to subtraction to go down on the y-axis. I'm going to press save, stop, and play, and let's see if he can move up and down. Pressing the W makes him move up, pressing the S makes him move down. Great. And A and D left to right. And that's it. We've got our character in our game. We're off to a good start, and we can make him move. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you next time.